What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on this Holzfforma 372. I made another video on this saw probably like 6 months ago or something, where I put an OEM carb on it because it was acting funny. So I thought, oh, we'll just throw a carburetor at it. It kind of fixed it, but it really didn't fix my core issue. This saw does not run anymore, at least not reliably enough to cut it, or to cut with it. You can get it to run if you really play with it a whole lot, but it leans out in the cut and it shuts off. So and then trying to start it again is an absolute bitch. So there's something else going on with this saw, and we're gonna figure out what that is. I think that it has an air leak somewhere, which is why I have a gasket kit right there with crank seal bearings. I think it's going to be a crank seal bearing because this Holzfforma G111 that I built, after probably like 4 tanks through it, the crank seal on the flywheel side went bad. And I've heard a lot of other people on the internet saying that like these clone saws, they come and some of them are good and some of them just have air leaks, and usually it's the crank seals. So I have another one of these saws that's not here right now, but I have a Holzfforma 395, and that thing has maybe 3 tanks through it, and it's still going good. No like air leak issues. I still got the Chinese carburetor on it, and that thing's still going strong. So I don't know, maybe that one's going to fail soon anyway, or as well. But I know that both of these saws, this one from the factory, it's just been a nightmare. This one, crank seal failed after like 4 tanks, 3 or 4 tanks or something like that. But it runs good now that I replaced that. So we'll see if it happens again after a couple more tanks, if the crank seals go again. But yeah, I guess the Farmertec crank seals are just junk from what I've heard. And then I don't know where the air leak is going to be in this saw, but I know there is one. So we're going to find it. So I'm going to move this, put it back over here next to my rip-off saws. You know what I don't understand? A lot of people hate on Ripsaw. You know, the Ripsaw people, they port chainsaws. This is a Ripsaw 201, and this thing is fucking awesome. Like, albeit it's very loud, and I think I'm going to actually do another video where I see if there's like actually a power advantage to having the stock muffler versus the Ripsaw muffler, because the Ripsaw muffler just makes this thing completely unusable in like residential areas. Like you're gonna piss off the whole entire town using that saw. Like if you're in an area where there's other houses other than the one that like you're working at. Like I gotta put the stock muffler back on that thing. It is so goddamn loud in video. Yeah, 372. Let's see what we can do here. It's always good to find cross-threaded bolts on a saw that you've never taken apart before. That one was right there. So obviously they just drill them in at the factory with a drill and don't bother making sure that they're not doing something bad. But I'm just going to tear this whole saw apart, and then I'm going to do all my tests. See what's going on here. Hopefully it's not like multiple things. Hopefully it's like one thing, you know. Because if it's multiple things, then that's going to suck. Alright, so watch this. It's got soapy water on it, right? If I spin the crank from the other side, when it gets to like right here, it spits out, like the soapy water just shot out of there. Like, that's got to be a leak. Like, I don't know how it wouldn't be, you know? Like, it only works if I fill it. But, I don't know. What do you think about that? Okay, so I just put the new seal in. Sorry I'm not really, like, recording this, like, step by step or whatever. Chainsaws really aren't that complicated when it comes to putting them apart and taking them, like, if you can take it apart, then you can put it back together, and pretty much every single part only goes in one way. Like, you pretty much can't screw it up. But it seems to me, some people are going to cringe with what I'm about to do. You guys saw that last clip. It was like, it would like suck the water right out of it when I spun the crank. if I throw this on here now, and that's the part that I say people are going to cringe about, they're not going to like that. I just, oh, I'm going to score it with the vice grips. No, I'm not. Watch it now. I know it's not in focus, sorry. Now watch. Right there, it would usually, before it was just shooting water right out of there, but it's not anymore. So if I put this saw ball back together and it runs good, then we know that it was that crank seal. If I put it back together and it doesn't run good, then you won't see this video. So, yep. I took off way more than I had to, obviously, to just look at crank seals and to replace crank seals. I also kind of just wanted to take it apart and see. I don't know, just check it out. I might see if I want to build one of these, you know what I mean? See how difficult it is, but it seems to be pretty friggin' easy, so. Alright, going back together. So, last night, I just kind of got the saw back together enough to see if it would fire up, and it did, which isn't really surprising, because, I mean, it ran before, but it didn't ran good, but it did fire up. Now, I think part of my problem, right, I didn't think about this until, like, this morning. I was like, oh, shit, this is a problem. So I was trying to pressure test and air test this saw last night. I had the spark plug in, I had the exhaust blocked off with a piece of rubber, like a rubber gasket, and then I had another, you can see, that's where it was blocked off, you know. I had another one for the exhaust side, and I couldn't get the thing to keep pressure. I was putting in pressure through the intake, or not the intake, sorry, the impulse line, and it couldn't build pressure at all. I know why that is now. So I'm gonna take this apart and I'm just gonna check this this thing real quick here. Okay, so last night when I was taking this apart, actually no, I was putting it back together, I broke the oiler, okay? Because I put the pieces in incorrectly. This is not going to come off without me smacking it. Hang on. Just had to do that with both hands. So I'm trying to air leak this saw, or air test this saw. And is that how that goes, by the way? I think it is. I don't remember when taking it apart, but that's the only way it fits. So I think that has to be how it goes. I broke that right off the side of the bolt. There's a bolt here and a bolt here on the oiler. I had it reversed. I had that underneath because I figured I had to go through that little slot there. And I was tightening it and I broke it. That is an air leak right there, that hole. Because that goes right into the crankcase. You can see the crank bearing through that hole. That goes into the crankcase. So that's an air leak as well. So I need to put this screw back in. I'm going to put some Loctite on it. It shouldn't affect the oiler. Just having one screw in it should be fine because everything else is compressing it anyway. But I do need to put this screw back in or I'm going to have an air leak through that. Which would also explain I had these screws out. I should have had these screws in when I was air leak testing it. So I'm not going to take the whole thing all back apart right now. I'm just going to put this screw in and see if we can get it to run. It did run with this screw out, but obviously it's not going to run properly if I have a leak this big in it. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to set you guys down. We'll see if this works. I put that bolt back in. We shouldn't have any air leaks now. I mean, I didn't test it properly last night because I didn't have that screw in, but I don't know. We should be good. Let's see. See if we fix this saw or if this is all just for nothing, really. So can you see if I do that? Should be able to. All right. I swear I've put so much time in to try to fix this saw. Like, this is like my trial and error, like obviously I didn't buy a broken saw to try to fix it. I bought a saw that I didn't realize was going to be broken. But that's the risk you take when buying these Chinese saws. So, all right, let's see if anything we did mattered. I had the off switch shut off. That doesn't help. Fired. Take the choke off. I need to put the chain on it to be able to tune it, but it's actually responding to what I do now. Before it was all over the place. So let's see if it starts back up. One pull, it should. Nope. Try to set that clutch. This is all floppy. It's like I need to put a bigger screw in it or something now that I have taken it off once. Like sometimes, I don't know, I feel like the plastics on these are just kind of crappy. So like, I mean honestly, everything in here is crappy, but the more times you take it apart and put it back together, no matter how gentle you are with it, stuff just strips out. See if it'll start again. Did for a second. You might not like it that I choke it out every time. So that was kill switch right there. I've heard on these Holzfforma kill switches that they break easy, so I usually just choke it out, but that might be why it doesn't like to start first pull, so let's try it now. That's what it is, because I'm giving it more fuel, so it takes 2 pulls to start it after I choke it. Yeah, this clearly had an air leak, guys. It clearly had an air leak, and it was clearly that that seal we replaced last night. I wonder if our oil is working. It appears that it is. That's oil right there. Yep, the oiler is working. You can see it. It's everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So I need to get I broke a couple things. I need to get a new one of these vibration mounts. I need to put a bigger nut in the chain brake handle. And I wonder where my other dog went. I think it's over here. Yeah, there it is. And I think that's all I need. I need to make it so that this choke lever pops off all the time. I need to fix that. Okay, it works though. We had a really bad air leak problem, and that just, if you watch my last video on this, I even put like overlay text on it, and I was like, I think this thing has an air leak. And then I actually put a comment on it probably like 2 weeks ago, because I was like, yeah, I need to let people know that this saw is still not working properly. All right, back together she goes. I'm gonna try to improvise a couple things to fix some stuff, and then I'll throw a bar and chain on it and see what we get. All right, so now I've got to actually try to tune this thing. So I've got one of these cheapo Amazon thermometers, or sorry, tachometers. I'm gonna have to see where on this I can put it. Probably I'm gonna have to take this back off. This basically just reads the, oh, might not anymore. This basically just reads your RPM through just like vibration, I suppose. So these things, 372, like a stock 372, like a real one, I guess they idle around 2700, and then no load peak RPM is around 13,500, according to the internet. I'm probably not going to go that crazy with it just because it's Chinese. So if I can get it to go to maybe 10, 11,000 RPM, 10,000 is kind of low. But maybe 11, 12,000 RPM, no load, that'd be nice. 13, yeah, I don't know, that's kind of a little bit pushing it for that. I think this thing right now is tuned at, I think these max go to like 12 stock. This one's right around like 10 and a half. And it kind of likes to be there. That's a little bit richer than you'd want it, really, I guess. If you run your air fuel mixture leaner, you get more RPM out of it, just from what I've seen. So that could be incorrect. I don't think it is, but you lower your RPMs, you're giving it less fuel, so it can't get higher RPMs, basically. So you're actually, I don't know, is that running it leaner or running it richer? I don't know, but I just know that if I tune it one way, it goes higher RPM. I think that's leaner, but okay. So I'm just gonna see if I can get this thing to run anywhere good, and then we'll stick it in the wood, and then we'll call it a day. So I had to go buy gas because I ran out. The thing is with these saws, I mean, it's probably like every saw, but you try to tune it. If your tank's not full and you're trying to tune it, you're doing yourself a disservice. So, like this tank was like a third of the way full, and it was just fucking all over the place. So I don't know if that's just these saws, but they like to be full on fuel. If they're not full, then they don't act right. So anyway, I got it idling at 2,700, and I got it revving no load to 13,000, which is 500 RPM less than it's supposed to be. I'm just going to run it there. If the pig blows up, then the pig blows up. And whatever, you know. It's funny though, I put my bar nut and my dog and stuff on with one of these like little ratchet wrenches, and I guess I didn't have enough leverage on it, and they just vibrated off as I was testing it. So I'm going to use a scrunch that way. They're actually on tight enough. I've seen people on these Holzfformas though over tighten and pull the bar studs out, so I try not to do that. But I'm gonna get this back on and I'll show you guys. I think this saw's fixed, dude. I mean, every time I say that, it's not, but it is. We'll see when we get it in the wood. If it runs in the wood like it is out of the wood, I'm gonna say we're fixed. So we'll see. One sec. Let's see. One pull, hopefully. I'm going to call that fixed, guys. I'm going to call that fixed. I know I called it fixed last time too, but we'll see. If we end up making another video on this fucking thing, then, then we'll know. If anyone wondering, this is a 24-inch bar and chain. This is just a regular hemlock piece of wood. So, full... Is that full chisel? This is I believe it's full chisel. It's full chisel. It's Husky X cut. Husky X cut. I don't know the other qualifiers for that. 24-inch bar, Husky X cut chain, round file. It's brand new actually, so it's just factory grind, but factory file, factory blah 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 blah. What do I think about these Holzfforma saws? I think they're pieces of shit. I really think they're pieces of shit. I don't know. I mean, it's possible that I've just gotten a couple of bad saws, which, well, obviously I've gotten a couple of bad saws. That other saw that I had, you know what? Let me go get that one, because obviously this one had a bad air leak through the fucking crankshaft seal on the clutch side. This other saw, my 200 clone that I built, had a air leak through the seal on the flywheel side. So alright, I don't know. We're just going to make a cut with that one real quick. I'm just going to show it to you just because I want to. Just cold start it and rip it. But this thing, we'll see how it holds up now that it's actually doesn't have an air leak. I don't know. Do what you're going to do with these saws, honestly. Like, if you want to buy one because it's cheaper, go right ahead. But just know that there's a super high probability that you're going to have to tear them apart and replace seals, because from the factory, they just, from my experience, they're not put together well, and the parts that they're put together with are just junk. Like the seals and the gaskets, and they're just crap. Like, you're nowhere near OEM quality. Anyone that tells you these things are OEM quality or close to it, they're lying to you. They're not anywhere close to OEM quality, but they do work if you're willing to tinker with them a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to get the other one. I'm just going to do a quick little cut for you just to show you. Just because I'm kind of proud of it that I built it. You know? Like, just because it's... I don't know. I like saws. Saws are fun, guys. Saws are fun. Let's continue to learn about stuff. I like learning about stuff. That's really what it is. And making noise while doing it. So, alright. Let's see if this thing will start up. I'm gonna do a cut with the other saw. Then we'll see if this one will start up. I'm gonna turn this log. I'm kind of getting into valuable real estate here, but I'm gonna make another one of these bears. I did that. That's my first attempt at a large standing bear. So we'll see. Maybe I can try to recreate that. I usually am able to do it once, and then every time after that I fuck it up. Like I made an eagle head, and it came out like sick. And then like the next couple that I made, I just scrapped them. They look terrible. So yeah, anyway, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe. If you buy a Holzfforma, get ready to replace your crank seals. So, all right, see ya. Give that thing a second to soak for a minute and see if it'll start up again one pull. It should still be warm, but just make sure it's not doing anything funky. We'll try it again after I do this, because it'll be sitting for about 5 minutes or so, you know? You never know. So one of the main symptoms of an air leak is basically that you can't tune the saw, it doesn't tune well, and you're also not going to have any power in the cut, okay? So it'll rev up, if you can tune it and get it to rev it, and then you go into your cut and it starts it just bogs way down and stalls even, you likely have an air leak. So at that point, don't throw a carburetor at it. That's what I did. Doesn't work. You have an air leak somewhere. So just work on finding that. But I'll just show you this real quick. Kill switch on accident. My bad. I don't know why I'm cutting it like this, to be honest. I just felt like it. I don't want to ruin like this whole log, because I want to carve with it. But plus I don't want to hit the dirt on the underside right now. This log is frozen to the ground, so I can't move it to, you know, flip it around. But anyway, this thing was a piece of shit. When I first built it, it was okay. After a couple tanks, it was a piece of shit, and now it's kind of being a piece of shit again. Hang on. Yep. All right, let's try this one again real quick. Should start one pull. It's still warm. It should be. All right, that's it. 2 Holzfformas fixed. I am never buying another one of these. I might buy another, I certainly won't buy another one that's already built. I might buy other ones that are kit saws. just to put them together for fun, like that one that's closest to you there. But I will not be buying any more fully built Holzfformas, because you just have to take them apart again. So, anyway, thank you for coming to my episode of Sawtube. Goodbye.